In this video, we are going to look at the autofill function in Excel and how to create an index column. So what exactly is an index column? Index column is a column where each and every value is unique. So in this case, in this COVID data that we have, the first column, that is the patient number, will be serving as the index column. Here, each and every patient has a unique number, that too in an order. So an increment of 1 is applied to the next cell. You have 1, 2, 3, and so on. So your numbers are increasing by 1. And no two patients have the same patient number. There won't be two patient number 52s or 73s. So in a way, this serves as an index. Whenever you want to find a particular patient, you can just say, okay, where's patient number 53? And you can just go through the list and find out patient number 53. So this serves as an index column. Now, how can we create an index column like this? One way to do it is to write down patient number here and start typing 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And do so for the last row in your data. In this case, which will be control down 6725. So you need to constantly write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on till some 6700 roughly rough number of rows. Now, doing this is not the best way to actually come up with an index column. This takes a lot of time as well as a lot of efforts. Instead of doing this, what we can do is take help of Excel and tell Excel to fill our entire data with index numbers. How do we do that? Let's delete these three cells, come to the first cell, and let's learn about the double click functionality in Excel. At the bottom right of your active cell selection or even your active range selection, you have this small square. So notice how my cursor changes when I am not on the small square and when I am on the small square. So right now it looks kind of like a first aid icon, a white plus sign. But if I hover over the small square that we have at the bottom right of the cell, it changes to a thin black plus arrow. So normally it is white, thick plus arrow, kind of like a first aid icon. Here it is thin black. That's how I know that I am on top of that bottom right square. Now, clicking on this bottom right square simply copies the active selections data to the rest of the cells. If I want to copy this one to the rest of my data, I can simply double click on it and it will copy this 111 to my entire data. So if I go to the last row, control down, you can see that one has been copied till this particular cell. Now, how does Excel know that we have to stop here? We have to stop copying this one till here. How do I, or how does Excel really know that? Here lies the concept of the immediate left and the immediate right column. Whenever you double click to copy some data, Excel looks to its immediate left column and immediate right column to figure out where it has to stop the copy. So if the immediate left column ends here on this row, your copying will also happen till this row. If the K column, for example, had data till here, that is 6731 row, your copying would happen till this row. So it takes the column which has more amount of data and copies that number or copies that data till that particular row. So for example, if I delete all this extra ones, so right now I only have one cell which is containing the number 1. And if I go to the bottom and add a few more data to this, so if I say 1 or let's say A, B, C, and D. Now if I go to the top and try to double click and copy this data, it will get copied till this row. It does not care about these rows. It only looks to its immediate left and immediate right. In this case, the immediate right column, that is the K column, is completely empty. So it will disregard that. it will only look to the immediate left column, which ends here. So it will also copy the data till that row. If this wasn't there, it would copy till this point. The other rows, even if the data is still your till this cell or till this cell in this particular column, it doesn't really matter because Excel does not look at them while copying the data. So that is what the concept of immediate left and immediate right tells us. Now, how do we use this to our advantage to create an index column? Right now, I have one being copied to all my cells. But index column essentially has unique numbers. It does not have the same number duplicated for each and every patient. So in that case, this system will not work. We have to make one modification before using the double click method. And let's see what it is. To do that, I will delete all the ones that I have here. So I'll do Control Shift up arrow, then shift down again, and delete it. So now I only have one in the first cell. We already have seen that if we copy this one by double clicking, all the other cells will also have one. But what do we actually want? We actually want this one to become 2, then this 2 to become 3, this 3 to become 4. So basically, having an increment of 1, right? So how do we get this increment? Right now, Excel has no way to understand that we really want an increment of 1. We need to give Excel an example of what we really want. So right now, if I have 1 year and I write 2 year, the first cell acts as the main cell and the second cell acts as the example cell. So the first cell will be just where you want to begin your data with, and then you will have to give Excel an example as to how you want to proceed. So from 1 to 2, you are adding 1. Now Excel knows that you need to add 1 to the next number to get it. So I will simply select both the cells. Remember, that's crucial. You simply have to select both the cells and not just the first cell this time. Select both the cells and then double click on the bottom right square. And this will fill up the rest of the data in increments of 1. What if we wanted increments of 2? So we could simply just make this 3, select these two cells, the main cell and the example cell, and again double click on the bottom right square. And now you see it is 3, 5, 7, and 9. Basically increments of 2. So I'll just bring it back to the original data that we had, which is 2 year, like this. Now, you can apply the same concept when it comes to negative numbers as well. So if you want to have a negative chain of numbers, you can simply, let's say, have 3 year, 2 year, and then if you try to drag this down by simply clicking and holding on the bottom right square and bringing it till, let's say, this cell, your data now will move ahead in decreasing order, that is decreasing order of 1, because we had given an example of 3 to 2, which is minus 1. So you can see you get negative numbers as well, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. So that is the autofill function in Excel. Now this autofill function also works when it comes to month names and weekday names. So if I write down January, that is the month name January, can be simply dragged like this to get the rest of the names. In this case, we do not really need to give Excel an example of February to make it understand this is month name. Excel already knows that January is the month name. So you do not need to write February. You can simply go to the first cell and drag it down like this. Similarly, you can do so for weekday names or weekend names. So for example, if you have Monday, you can drag this as well by clicking and holding like this. So you get Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. You do not need to type in Tuesday here again to give Excel an example. It already knows Monday is the weekday name. Here, once you are done with all the weekday names, that is till Sunday, Excel will repeat the procedure from the very beginning. So we'll again have Monday, bring it down, Tuesday, so on till Sunday. Again, you will start from Monday. So this is a never-ending procedure. This applies for short forms in Excel as well. So if you had, instead of January, you had only Jan, and if you drag this down, you would get Feb, March, April, and so on in the short forms. Similarly, with week names, you have Monday. If you drag this down, you will get PUE, WED, THU, and so on. So, just to give you a quick recap of what we have learned in this lecture, first, how to double click to drag your data to the last row of data that we have to its immediate left and immediate right. Make an index column using the example and the main cell that we have given to Excel here by specifying the increment number. Learning that it can be also done when it comes to negative numbers. And finally, looking at the inbuilt data that Excel understands, which is the month names and the week names, that is January, February, and so on, and Monday, Tuesday, and so on, along with its shortcuts as well. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you in the next one.